Hey, I'm Jeff and welcome back to another video. Sometimes you get really sick of a certain plant, and for me right now, it is this plant right here, my mixed basket or mixed pot of Hoya cuttings. It's just in this small little hanging pot. I'm just gonna grab the rope here and bring it down. I have had a few different types of plants in here, but it's just never really looked the way I expected it to. So it's time to switch it up and put something different in it, and hopefully it will grow much better than these Hoyas. So I envision this as a beautiful, flowing, cascading Hoya that had many flowers, and it was just emitting a beautiful fragrance downstairs here. But clearly that's not the case. It's not looking the greatest, and is that a direct reflection of the care I give it? Probably. I don't pay too much attention to this one. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with these cuttings yet. I might actually just give them away, or I might take cuttings or just propagate them and start something new. But this is just not what I want. And again, in previous videos, I've said, you know, don't feel bad or don't hesitate to just throw out a plant if it's not making you happy or anything like that. So I have no issues with throwing this one out as well. So that's probably what will happen with this. It'll just go straight in the compost. But regardless, these plants are coming out of the pot, and I'm gonna see if I can find something maybe a little bit more suitable for up on the wall there. I want something that is kind of like that cascading type thing, not necessarily like a pothos cascading down, but just something that provides just basically like a feature plant or something that draws your attention to this portion of the wall, because obviously I have a lot of plants. So I want something with that kind of dramatic effect. So today I decided to do a little plant shopping. I love ferns, and I have had a couple that I just really haven't had success with. So I've yet to master the in-home houseplant fern care, that sort of thing. But I decided to go to a store called Sparrow on 13th. They recently expanded this space, so it's a much larger store. They have a ton of different types of plants, plus they have some art stuff here as well. I recently bought a Monstera mint, so there'll be a video down the road with that, but they have a bunch of different smaller Thai constellations, and here are their Monstera mints, which, like I said, I'll make a video down the road. I did message the store before I came just to see if they had any ferns in stock, but this is definitely a cool looking shop for sure, so it was nice to come and see all the different types of plants they had. This crocodile fern, I've had it in the past. I have not had really good success with it, so I thought I'd try something different, and I found this kangaroo paw fern. So this is what I ended up buying, and it's actually labeled as a rabbit foot fern. I picked this one up for $25. It does have those aerial roots, or these rhizomes, that they do get a little furry. Not quite like the regular rabbit foot ferns that you see, like they're super, super fuzzy. These are almost just a little bit prickly. So this one, and just doing some very basic research, is a little bit more hardier, which that is what I want for the wall here. They can tolerate a bit more light than some other varieties of ferns, and it sounds like this one specifically can tolerate a little less humidity as well. So I think this will actually look really sweet when it's potted up properly in this pot. I should actually make a little correction. I didn't mean less humidity. Every type of fern likes higher humidity, but right now, downstairs here, mine is sitting around 48%, so I'm definitely gonna have to fire up the old humidifier, which I have down there. But what this one can do is tolerate a little bit more of a drier soil. Right now it looks like it's just in your regular like potting mix. Now these are epiphytic or epiphytes. They like to grow on trees and that sort of thing. So it needs a really good kind of airy mixture or airy soil. Now in doing some research, because I really haven't had much experience with these types of plants, or like these rabbit foot ferns. In doing some research, there's varying information out there, anywhere from like a moisture-rich soil to something that is very airy and well-draining. Now, since these are epiphytes, I'm leaning more towards the chunkier soil, something that is very quick draining, something that doesn't hold on to moisture for very long. So I'm actually going to be using my aeroid soil that I use for pretty much all my houseplants. Like this right here. It's just a nice chunky well-draining mixture. So I want to get it out of the regular soil. Now I don't advocate for bringing a plant home and immediately taking it out of the pot and giving it fresh soil. I like to let them kind of acclimate to my house conditions, but like I said, I don't like this soil. I just want to get it out of it, and I'm actually just really curious to see what the root system is like, and just learning from this plant as I go, because like I said, I'm not an expert. I absolutely love ferns, but I just want to learn how these plants grow and what conditions that they like. Like I said, this one can tolerate probably a bit more light, so I do have some light sources. I have my track lighting as well as these gooseneck bulbs if I need to give it more light or take light away kind of thing. So I'm going to play around with this one for the next few months here just to see how it responds. But for today, I'm just going to simply take it out of the pot, and I love these little chunky roots. Beautiful, beautiful plant. So first things first, I just want to take these Hoya plants out of the insert here, and you can just see, like, it's not the greatest looking plant right now. Like this leaf is pretty dehydrated. These ones are turning yellow. It's probably getting too much light, in my opinion. Once they start getting kind of yellow and bleached like this, it can be a root issue, watering issue, but it also can be a high light or even nutrient issue. So I'm just kind of done with this plant. It's like looking even super dusty. So taking this out, yeah, it's time to go. I'm not even going to be gentle with this. I'm just going to literally pull this out. And I'm actually curious to see the roots on this one as well. So a little surprising. I wasn't expecting to see the roots so far down, basically at the bottom of the pot here, but they are super, super dry. So definitely I let these cuttings get way too dry, so that's my fault. I'm definitely gonna have to keep a closer eye on the fern here. I should probably rinse that out. I'm just gonna put this here for now. I like to keep as much of the old soil as I can, as long as there's not like a ton of roots and stuff in there that will kind of break down over time. Just clean this out. It doesn't have to be perfect. They have little air holes or air pockets on the side. That's what I like about this type of pot or this setup, is that it provides airflow to all of the roots, which these epiphytic plants like and prefer. So going to get rid of a few of these dead lower leaves here. Just clean it up as I go. I did spray this plant off as well with some of the Pure Crop 1, so in case there's any little pesky critters and that sort of thing on this plant, then that'll hopefully take care of that. I just did a quick little search as well for the type of pests that are prone to this plant. And it said scale is one of those pests to kind of look out for. So I don't see any on this plant. Now, the root system, it has a very, very thin root system, and they're kind of brown. So I don't know if it's been too wet or it's been too dry, but I'm going to remove as much of this soil as I can, and then I'll put it in kind of that aeride mix, and hopefully it can establish a new root system, because I'm going to be damaging a lot of these roots, and that's why, like I said, I don't advocate for bringing a plant home and then just taking out of its original soil. Just let it acclimate. But for myself here, I just want to put it in something well draining. It's actually quite a large or bigger root system than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting it to be so thick and spongy. But I'm going to break this up. Just loosening up all the soil. I'm not going to like take it over to the bathroom here and spray off. I'm just going to remove as much as I can, and then I'll put it in the chunky mixture. And let's see, let's kind of size it up. And so it's a perfect fit. I wouldn't go anything smaller than what this is. So it pretty well fills out the entire pot. So basically all I'll have to do is just add a little bit of soil in the bottom, and then I'll just let the plant do the rest. I'll put it up on the wall here, and we'll see how it does over the next little while. I'm hoping it does good with the kind of brighter light there. With the gooseneck ones, I can adjust it as needed. So when I actually don't even know how much light is getting to this area right here, so I'll use my light meter and determine what kind of light it's actually receiving. So I would say anything over like 200-foot candles would probably be good for this plant. I know there's some ferns out there that prefer like a very moist, shady spot. There's some that like higher light, a little bit more heat. So there's different conditions for different types of ferns. This is a cool spot right here as well. You can clearly see the rhizome type root, and you can see it sprouts off growth from there. So I know you can divide these, like you can just separate them, but you can also propagate them with these roots, I do believe. It just has to have a section where it has a leaf, so you can, I don't know if these are previous leaves or if they're about to sprout, but you can take a cutting, put it back in the soil, and it should start to generate an entirely new plant. So such a cool looking plant for sure. Like, I'm intrigued by these roots. I have, like I said, no experience with watching them or growing them, so I'm curious to see how it grows and develops over time. So here's what I'm left with. The root system pretty much reaches the bottom, so I'm just going to add some of the mix. I got a whole bag of it right here, and I'll show you just kind of the chunky, airy mixture and just how it looks. Something like that. So it's just a nice, airy mixture. I'm going to pretty much coat the bottom like that. That way the roots can grow down into the soil over time. I'm just going to size that up. So I might actually add a little bit more on the bottom here. And then I'm just going to add soil around the roots, and then I'm just going to give it a good soaking here as well. I just want it resting on the new soil. So something like that. Now I'm just going to get a smaller little cup, and I'm going to add some soil just around the edges here. Now, without getting my hand in the way, I'm just going to dump soil just kind of around the edges, and then I'm just going to kind of shake it down, just so it sits in here. Whoops. It's actually a perfect fit for this pot. I'm actually quite surprised. So just going to dump it all in there like so, and then give it a good thorough watering. Now with these ones as well, I've read that they don't like the top or the crown wet. So if you can bottom water these or kind of water along the sides, that will be a good alternative to just, you know, completely soaking it from the top down. Actually, I might have to add a little bit more soil. It wants to kind of sink down, but something like that I think will be okay. I want these little roots cascading over the side. I think that's probably one of the second coolest feature. The first one are these beautiful looking leaves, but I want those roots cascading down. So I kind of just did what I said not to do and soak the entire plant, but I wanted to help settle the soil, and then you can see all these little air holes or holes in the pot just allow for drainage as well. Now the problem where you run into if you get the crown wet or like the top part of the plant is when you don't have sufficient airflow. So I run a little oscillating fan. There's going to be airflow down here, so that'll help dry it out quite quickly as well. So I'm just going to let that all kind of drain through, as I don't want there to be any water sitting at the bottom. Just kind of let it drain through. It's thoroughly watered. Everything looks beautiful. Now I can just put it in the little insert, and I'll hang it back up on the wall. Now let's kind of see, or let's test out the kind of light that it's getting. So from this little Sansi grow light right here, it's sitting around kind of the higher end of 500-600. Over here, just with the Soltech track lights up there, it's getting around 250. So I might actually maybe pull this one back a little bit, or I might actually even just direct it somewhere else for now. Just going to bring it down. I might actually pull it back, something like that, just so it gets maybe a little bit of side light. And let's see. So that's kind of in the, well, that's in low light right now. Over here, it's getting around 400. So I'll just have to play around with the light a little bit. That's a little too dark, actually. So I just pushed the bulb back a little bit. So now it's getting right there. That's medium light, and this is what I would suspect this plant would need is around that 300 to 400 foot candles. Right there, it's, well, that's still a little bit high. So 600 foot candles, so I might push it back even a bit more. That's the nice thing about these goosenecks is I can put it right back, something like that. And we'll see how this reacts. So again, right there, it's still getting a lot of light, but I'll leave it as is for now. I absolutely love how it looks, and we'll just kind of see how this plant responds to that grow light, particularly right there. So we'll see if it likes the higher light, kind of that medium to high light, and I can adjust it if needed. So now I'm going to clean up my mess here, but let me know what you think of this kangaroo foot fern, if it's a good choice for this spot in particular, and if you have any experience in growing this plant. Just leave it down in the comment section, and if you have any other questions or comments, concerns, tell me what you thought of this video as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching all my videos. I do appreciate the support. Take care, everyone. Bye.